Aloha everyone, and thank you for inviting me, and congratulations for getting to the States, both boys and girls, right? And I hear the fastest in the state, is that right, like you said?
In OAI, yeah,
OAI,
we have different divisions, but yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you all for having me speak to you today. My name is Jonathan Pascual. The scene I had dreamed of played out just as I imagined. I was running towards the lights, utterly exhausted, every part of me aching, my brain screaming at me to stop. The crowd's roar faded to a hum as I focused on the words that mattered most to me. Keep moving, finish what you started. And then, at last, I crossed the finish line of the Kona Ironman World Championship, collapsing as I finally made it into the arms of those I love most. This moment was over 20 years in the making. From the day I watched Dick Hoyt push his son Rick in a wheelchair across that same finish line. Their story taught me that with enough courage, the Ironman mantra of anything is possible is within anyone's reach. But now I find myself in a different kind of race, a race against time, one with no clear finish line and no medal at the end. 2 years ago, I found out I had cancer. A tumor grows near my heart, spreading to my lungs and bones. I am living with stage 4 mediastinal paraganglioma, a terminal diagnosis with no cure, no surgery, and no bells for me to ring, signaling the end of treatment. But I'm still here, and I'm still fighting. This cancer is unlike any challenge I've faced. The tumor presses close to my heart, sending its tentacles into the big veins of my chest up to my neck, blocking blood flow and leaving me breathless. My face, neck, and tongue swell. Dizzy spells and chronic pain are my constant companions. The cancer has spread throughout my body, to my bones, lungs, and spine. Yet through radiation, surgeries, and targeted therapies, I refuse to be still. I keep moving. And every day, I wake up knowing that despite the setbacks, I still have the chance to move forward and to be a force for good. Crossing the Kona finish line this year was harder than I could have ever anticipated. I was terrified of the swim as I struggled with shortness of breath, my face and neck swelling, the pressure so intense it left me gasping for air at times, floating on my back just to catch my breath. And yet, I kept going. Turning the buoy halfway with an hour and a half elapsed, I saw the surfer guiding me. I was the last swimmer, with only half the course behind me. As doubts crept in and I raced the cutoff time of 2 hours and 20 minutes for the 2.4 mile swim, I remembered those who supported me along the way. My family, my friends, my medical team, and even strangers who believed in my strength. Their faith in me kept me afloat. With 2 minutes to spare, I made it out of the water, allowing myself the only moment during the entire race to cry, because I realized I still had the chance to finish what I started if I just kept moving. On to the 112-mile bike ride, it took an hour to recover from the swim. With my special needs bag containing my essential nutrition and electrolytes misplaced, I relied on volunteers for sustenance. At mile 65, I found myself helping an injured cyclist. Blood on the side of his head, coagulated blood on the road. I put his safety over my own race. Even after losing 45 minutes, I reminded myself, Jonathan, it's just a race. That man needed help. And somehow, by relentlessly pushing on the bike, I still made it back on track, 15 minutes ahead of my predicted arrival. I told myself, this race isn't about you alone. It's for everyone who stood by you, those who couldn't be here, those you honor who lost their war on cancer, and those still fighting. The run was grueling, each step a reminder of my limits. But I reminded myself, it's just 26.2 miles. And unlike a 100-mile ultramarathon, I wouldn't see another sunrise. Instead, I focused on the steady rhythm of my feet, pacing my breath, drawing energy from those cheering along the course, and focusing on my purpose, much bigger than myself. My math showed I'd finish just before midnight, and I did. Not because of my strength, but because of the strength of everyone who supported me. Living with cancer has shown me just how precious life is. Since surviving a brain tumor in 2007, I've embraced each day as a chance to live fully, to give fully, to love fully, a practice I call the art of dying. I've come to realize that giving to others and living well are inseparable, even as I face the limits of my own body. My battle against cancer has taught me to let go of the person I once was and embrace who I am now, a person who's stronger in spirit, more resilient, and even more committed to making a difference. As young people, you're expected to be the best students, the best athletes, artists, and citizens. But being a force for good means being the best friend, the best teammate, the best son or daughter, and the kindest person in the room. It means giving to others even when you're struggling yourself. Alone, it may seem like you cannot do much, but together as a team, you can be a force for good. In my Filipino culture, we have a concept called bayanihan. The idea that no one is left behind, that the strength of the community depends on lifting each other up. And then there's kapwa, which means neighbor, kindred, or fellow human. It reminds us that we're all connected, and when one of us is struggling, we're all affected. When you are training and racing, remember this: your mindset is the most powerful tool that you have. You will face challenges, adversity, suffering, loss, health issues, mental struggles, injustices. But each of those trials is an opportunity to show what you're made of. Face them with courage and never be afraid to ask for help. I want you to take this with you. Your true strength lies not in pushing through a race, but in using that strength to lift others. I've had the privilege of saving lives in lung transplantation, raising funds for cancer, benefiting the FC Foundation, and inspiring others to find meaning in their challenges. I am here because of those who have helped me, who believed in me even when my own doubts grew. Every step forward, I carried the love and encouragement of my ohana with me. So, as you lace up your shoes for your next race or challenge, remember that what you're doing is about more than winning. It's about finding a purpose, running for something larger than yourself. Run with heart, run with gratitude, and run with the intention to make a difference in the world around you. Because when you run for something bigger than yourself, you're not just finishing a race, you're changing lives. Be a force for good. Thank you. So, we're a pretty intimate group. I got the speech out of the way. I think we can just, talk stories and ask questions. You can ask about, how do you deal with, when you're racing or you're training, or what do you eat, how do you recover, and things like those. Anything. I've spoken to other places, other young people too, and they even ask the hard questions like, there's this one kid at the very back of the stadium in the entire high school whose voice just piped up and said, "Are you afraid to die?" And everyone was just like murmuring and just like, "Are you crazy? Why are you asking that question?" Nothing's, it's okay. It's okay to ask questions. So, anyone, go ahead.